Movement is medicine and muscles are cool. Today we're going to be going over how to do push-ups effectively. So let's get started. Let's talk about hand positioning. My hands are directly underneath my shoulders, at least vertically. If you want to go a little bit wider, that's totally okay, as long as that is consistent and comfortable for you. Also, what you want to focus on when it comes to comfortability is the positioning of your hands' orientation. Now, you can rotate them out. It's found to be more comfortable for a lot of people. You want to make sure you're gripping the ground, though. What I mean by that, take your fingers, grab the ground, fan them out, and rotate around like this, scooping my shoulder blades back and down. Speaking of shoulders, let's talk about those next. You want to keep your shoulders as stable as you can through the entirety of the push-up motion. Now, how do we do that? You pack your scapula. You rotate them back and down. Putting them in your back pocket is a good cue for a lot of people. Now, keeping them stable helps us focus on the muscles we actually want to work, which are our chest and our triceps. All muscles have an origin and an insertion where they attach at certain joints. Moving those joints away from each other is how you stretch a muscle. Stretching your chest looks like moving your arms back, just like you would in a push-up motion. Keeping your shoulders stable allows your chest to stretch without relying on other muscles to pick up the slack as they are moving. Keeping whatever muscles aren't working as stable as possible is the best way to get an isolated stretch and contraction in the muscles you want to utilize. Next, we're going to talk about your core. Your core is not just your abdominal muscles, but they're going to be the primary ones we're talking about here. You want to tuck your ribs down. Notice what I'm doing here, tucking my ribs down. That shortens the abdominal muscles up here. Rotate your hips under, so that way the lower abdominals are also activated. Keeping your core stable and making sure you're not pressing with your lower back or arching your lower back, taking the focus away from the muscles you want and putting them into muscles that you don't want to put pressure on, at least during these motions. I'd recommend you try to activate your core on your knees before you get started. Tuck my ribs. Tuck my hips, feel my abdominals clench and get tight, and then pop up off of my knees. Now, a lot of people tend to ask, how should my elbows look? Let's go over that next. I'd recommend your elbows go about 45 degrees, but I'm going to tell you there's about a 15-degree leeway you can give yourself either direction. Whatever feels comfortable and allows you to keep your shoulders steady. Consistency is key with this. It doesn't have to look like anyone else's. Your push-ups just need to be safe and consistent. Lastly, when performing a push-up, I like to tell people you're trying to push the ground away from you with your hands and your breath. So you exhale the ground away. And you get the best push possible when you're doing that. Now, next question I normally get is, but Major, I can't do push-ups. Can you do them on your knees? The only difference in everything we've gone over from this to this is you drop to your knees. It is easier, but if you want to get good at push-ups, you got to get good at doing them on your knees. I do them as a drop set to my push-ups all the time. There's nothing embarrassing about doing push-ups on your knees. If you don't want to do them on your knees, or that's still too hard, we have some other variations you can utilize as well. You can do push-ups against an elevated surface like a bench, your couch, your bed, anything that has a higher elevation you're pushing off of. When your body is tilted upward, that makes it slightly easier, fighting gravity less. Now, you can also do both of these combined. You can do against an elevated surface on your knees. It only matters that you're doing correct form that we've talked about and pushing yourself to what your body is capable of. It doesn't matter if you can't do a push-up today. If you want to get good at push-ups, you have to do the more basic, regressed versions and get really, really good at those. And then once you get really good at those, it gets a lot easier, a lot quicker. Trust me, from someone who was a little kid doing push-ups on his knees a long time ago, but I was a skinny little kid who had to start somewhere too. Doing push-ups against a wall is probably the most regressed version, easiest version that we have out there. Now, the only thing I would change when you're doing these is I put your hands a little bit lower than the other ones, just to make sure that you're not shrugging your shoulders. You can play around with your hand positioning with these to what's comfortable, but just getting as far as you can and pressing up the exact same way that you would any of the other ones. That's all I've got for you guys today. I will be posting a video every day for the month of May, something movement related, and I will also be going live for at least an hour doing some form of movement while talking to people while I'm live on stream about movement, how to help you, any personal questions you might have. You can't make it to a stream? Ask those questions in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer as many fitness and health related questions as I can as we go through this entire month of May. Thank you guys, and don't forget,